Welcome to the session for Is it good to be bad or bad to be good? First, wish you all a very happy Teachers' Day. And if you have been a teacher to somebody in life or someone in life, it's beautiful to be a teacher and ask me. I can tell you stories, epic stories about how beautiful it is to be a teacher in life. There is no Tendulkar if there is no Ramakant Acharikar. There is no Vivekananda if there is no Ramakrishna Paramhansa. There is no Arjuna for a Dronacharya, if not for a Dronacharya. As much as today has been the day for wishing all the teachers from your school to your college to university to life, I, for being a teacher to so many of them, as many times today the students would have said Happy Teachers' Day, I would say thank you for being such amazing students. In this culture, especially in this part of the world in India, everything is worship and everyone is worshipped except a student. A shishya, a disciple, a pupil is never worshipped. There is a very genuine psychological scientific reason behind it. But as a teacher, I want to say that to all of you who see me as an inspiration, sometimes you see me as a teacher when I teach a subject or aspect of life. If not for all of you, what do a teacher do? Khalil Gibran used to say, as much as earth should be grateful for the rains, even the rains should be grateful for the earth. Because if not for the earth, who will receive it? On this Teachers' Day, let me state this to all of you who are watching this, being with me. As much as the student and the students should be grateful to a teacher, even a teacher should be feeling grateful towards a student, because if not for the students, who will receive the wisdom of the teacher? I know there is not something called Students' Day. It will not be, it shouldn't be. But for being some amazing students that all of you have been religiously, ritualistically being with me, learning life for all these years. Thank you for being students. Thank you for being some amazing students that you have, that you are, and that I have you there on my comments box. So thank you for learning. Thank you for growing with me, through me, all the time. So happy Teachers' Day, and let's get into the subject of the day. I think of all the topics, subjects that I've spoken in my life, all these years of being a teacher, an inspiration, guide, coach, mentor, this is one basic thing that I have spoken a lot on a lot of platforms as recent as last Sunday. Of course, the book, my first book also titles Good Times, Difficult Times, Who Knows? And the context and the purview of this session today with all of you also is on good and bad. It's at times so confusing to know what is good, what is bad. It's actually torturous at times, a mental torture and emotional torture for so many of them all through their life. You just don't know what's being good and what's being bad, and who is good and who is bad. And this whole judgment, because it's purely judgment. There is no science to being good. There is no science to be bad in life. Because what's good to somebody is bad to somebody. What is bad to somebody is good to somebody. So there is no logic. There is no scientific base. It's pure judgment. And how do somebody know how to judge? The most difficult task in life is that of a judge in a court, because he does not have to give a judgment or a verdict based on the truth or reality. He has to give judgment on the basis of the arguments done by the two advocates fighting the case. Whose argument is more convincing? Whose argument is more powerful, more tactful, more factful? Depending on that, a judge has to give a judgment. It's such strange system that nobody knows the truth, nobody knows the reality. It's all about the presentation of the factual data or the manipulated data, or somebody who is really too good in presentation and manipulating the argument really wins. So the most difficult part in life is judging, and based on assumptions, based on perceptions, based on personal opinions and understandings. Every word is so vague here. Judging, such a vague word. Assumption, such a vague word, not based on any data or any fact. Perception, not the reality. Perception, understanding, and with growing maturity or falling maturity, the understandings keep changing. So, and most of us live our life based on these words: judging, being judgmental, assumptions, perceptions, understanding, and absolutely everything is so vague, on something so vague and abstract. We have to live a real life with real people in a practical mode. Can you understand the difficulties and the predicament of every individual here? And that is why there is so much of misunderstandings, so much of chaos in people, within people, in relationship, within relationships, at the workplace, at every level. There is so much of chaos, so much of ambiguity, because there is no formula, there is no rule, there is no law, there is no logic to define what is good in life and who is good in life, and what is bad in life and who is bad in life. Yet we live our entire life on a daily basis on these two words, frequently used, lived practice: good or bad. Who defines what is good and who defines what is bad? Even I am not in the position. I don't think any intelligent human being in the world will be ever in the position to define what is a complete good and what is complete bad, or what is complete right or what is complete wrong. Just with some observations and experiences of life, I thought, why not to have some, analysis of our life, the way we have lived, and maybe reach to some kind of so-called conclusion, because a conclusion based on facts is a very solid conclusion. It gives a lot of strength to you. But a conclusion based on assumptions and judgments, which may lead to some kind of understanding, will not be a very strong conclusion that will give you very big confidence. But if you can hold on to that understanding with a larger picture, I think a lot can still be resolved in your life and my life. So let's begin our search, our exploration, this mystery of good and bad. And I always say that I really don't know. Is it really good to be bad or bad to be good? So let's have basic look at the whole thing. As per what we have observed and experienced in our lives, who is a good person? And we are talking about being good or not being good, or being bad or not being bad. We're not talking about what is good and what is bad. We're talking about who, not about what. So who is a good person in our world, in our society, in our lives? It starts from our childhood. And every story of our life, or most of the part of the story of our life, begins from the childhood. And this major gimmick or major drama started from our childhood, where parents, grandparents, family members, elderly people kept on branding us, kept on branding us, saying, "You're a good boy, no. You're a good boy, no. You're a good girl, no. If you're a good boy, then you should not do that. If you're a good girl, then you should do that. Good boys will listen to mama. Good girls will listen to papa." And that hammering, conditioning for years together, decades together, has gone into our head that when you obey others, especially elder ones, senior people, you're a good person. If you obey whatever they ask you to do, then you're a good boy or a good girl. And if you don't obey them, you are branded as a bad boy or a bad girl. You fell on the ground as you play and you feel like crying, which is a very natural human emotion to cry when you're hurt, whether physically or mentally or emotionally. But then again, branding happens. Goodbye, no. Strong girl, no. Strong boys, strong girls don't cry. We brand it. We label everything in life. And this one big label that we have labeled people all our life has been the biggest curse of a human being in entire life. How many of us are carrying the burden of that you and me should be a good boy or a good girl, good person or a good person all your life? We have to carry this cross. I'm not even defining what is good. What I'm telling you is observation and experience that we have all gone through in life is, if you listen to people, if you obey others, then you're a good person. It's what we have understood. And this is what we have labeled and branded everybody around us. If my son listens to me, everything that I ask him to do, then for me he's a good person. And if he disobeys me, rebels, or refuses or rejects my proposal, then I think he's a rebellion. Then I think he's a bad boy. At least for one, I know I am not that one parent or that teacher or that leader in my work where I brand people as good person or a bad person just because they refuse to listen to me or they had difference of opinion. You and me cannot even have difference of opinion, really. Then why we have given intelligence, individual intelligence is given to each one of us by the God of all of us. Intelligence means you can have a way, you can have your own perspectives, you can have your own ideologies, you can have your own ideas, you can have your own thought processes, you can have your own outlook towards life. That doesn't makes you wrong. That doesn't makes you bad. That doesn't make you anything else. It's just that your thought and my thought doesn't match. As simple as the parents want you to go for a certain movie and you refuse, saying that I don't like those kind of movies, so you carry on, I will not watch that movie, I will watch other movie. And then again this pressure comes. Good boy, no? You won't listen to mama? You won't listen to papa? Now, for him or her to carry that label of good on him or her head, they have to sit for a 3 hours movie which they don't like it. And just to keep other person happy, you end up going through that torture for yourself. These are simple examples, and these examples eventually will become big, where you want to work certain way and the other people want you to work certain ways. See, you want to work in certain way and others want to work in certain way. It's okay, no issue. Problem is, others want you to work in the way they want you to work. I think this is too unreasonable in life. It was okay at one point of time in life where intelligence is not completely developed for all those people who are still young, but by the time of they reach the age of 10, 12, 14 onwards, I think intelligence starts becoming very sound, very profound, based on their personal experiences, based on some borrowed intelligences, based on their own learnings and own inputs and own information that they have collected. Intelligence starts grooming. It may not match, it will not all the time. There are times when we have similarities in a lot of things, beautiful, but that doesn't mean every time there will be similarities, because we are human beings. As many minds, so many ways. Ramakrishna Paramahansa said. As many minds, so many ways. And I don't see this very valid or reasonable that you have to listen to whatever other people say. You want to listen, it's beautiful, nothing wrong about it. Because you like because I know there are so many people who like me a lot, they love me a lot, they care for me a lot, they respect me a lot. Maybe at times they do not like what I ask them to do, but because they like me a lot, they end up doing it. That's fair enough. That's a personal choice they make for themselves. But I don't pressurize anybody. But just because you don't like something, you don't need to do it. But we end up doing it because we want to be good. Not only we want to be the good, we want to be in the good books of everybody else. So there are few options I'm going to throw at all of you right now, and I think it's very strange options, very awkward options, and very difficult choice to make. If you listen to everybody, whatever they ask you to do, whatever they ask you to behave, whatever they ask you, and you have to listen to everything they ask you to do, then you become a good person in their eyes. But if somebody else also who likes you a lot, who cares for you a lot, and if they say, if you do like that, I don't think it's the right thing to do. Now, for one person you become good, for the other person you become bad. I have seen people have come from a program and they have dropped bad habits at times, and when they have dropped bad habits, people who were in his group or in whose group he was, who were smokers and drinkers, they felt bad that he became good. So in their eyes he was bad, and his family members, because he dropped a bad habit, he became good in their eyes. So by doing the same action, by doing an action, by doing a behavior, by doing a gesture, by bringing a change in your life, for one set of people you become bad, for other set of people you become good. Now where do you stand yourself? In somebody's eyes you become good, somebody's eyes you become bad. Now wife says, let's go for the movie. Husband says, okay, let's go for the movie. And as you get ready for the movie, the mother-in-law says, I don't think today you should go out because there is blah, blah, blah. Some reasons she tells, very, very strong sentimental reason. And the husband says, Mama, but I'm going for the movie. No, you can't go for the movie. And Mama convinces downstairs. He becomes a good son. He goes upstairs. He becomes a bad husband. But their wives are brilliant communicators. She explains, she explains, she explains. The husband is now convinced wife is right. So he decides to go for the movie. He becomes a good husband. He comes downstairs. He becomes a bad son. Poor fellow. How do you deal with this? Because you're pulled from every angle for you to be good to them. People don't want you to be good. People basically want you to be good to them. That's important. And how will you be good to them? By doing whatever they ask you to do. Is it fair? Is it really possible every time? And if you end up doing it by being, see, it's not by being good. You're not being good. You're trying to become good to them, or they want you to be good to them. And I think by being good to them, you don't become good. That's for sure. That's for sure. By being good to them, they are pleased. They're pleased with you, but that doesn't mean you have become a good person. You have become good to them, bad to somebody else. So you're back to square one. You're still confused in state whether you are a good person or bad person. Even you don't know. Because for the same action of yours, somebody calls you good and somebody calls you bad. Now what do you do? And knowing this very well, we all are stuck in this trap for a lifetime. And not only we will bring next generations and generations also in the same trap. And they all will be mentally, emotionally tortured to the point where God knows where are we going to lead our life into. But I think I have got a lot of clarity in my life. By practicing few things, by bringing some thought process changed, by understanding things on a larger perspective, there's been a lot of liberation in my life. I think I have broken that trap of being labeled and branded as good or bad. In all these years of my life, you also would have gone through. I'm just going to state it from my perspective because I have an experiential authority on my life. But you all can relate with my life because your life and my life is not much different. We live in the same world. You and me go through the same issues in life. You and me also have the same family problems, same work-related problems, same financial issues, same social issues. Nothing much difference is there in your life and my life. But I think I found a way out for myself. So there are some questions which I ask to myself and to everybody. I ask myself, Deepak, you want good name or you want good life? And I always ask this question. You want a good name or you want a good life? I don't know whatever way I have been brought up in my life or the way it all happened to me. I am not much of a reputation oriented person. I don't bother too much about my reputation. I bother too lot about my character. I'm much more character oriented person than a reputation oriented person. What people think about me has never bothered me from very early in my life. I don't know how it has been, but I think that's the greatest blessing in my life. What people think about me doesn't bother a lot. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't know from where this thought process has come, but I think I was quite maybe to the point self-obsessed with myself, or I was much more self-conscious with myself than other people conscious. And there are two kinds of people. One set of people are like self-conscious like me. I'm more aware of myself. I'm more conscious about my thought process, my feeling domain, my behaviors, my actions, my work, my everything about me. I'm more conscious about whatever I do 24/7. I'm very to the point you can say, I'm not saying I'm self-obsessed, but to the point I can say that I'm more self-obsessed with myself. What I think, what I do, what I feel, what I am going to do, what I did matters to me a lot than what people think about me. And second category of people in this world are other people conscious who are full time occupied with what others will think about them, others will think about them, what others will think about them, log kya bolenge, what will people say about me. And in that, they don't live their life, because they're living life completely to impress them, in trying to impress them so that they will earn a good name, but they are not enjoying their life. Addressing a set of people last Sunday on a public forum, and I like to dress up myself the way I like to dress up myself. I have my own style of dressing. I have my own way of doing everything in my life. So the chief guest in his small talk very beautifully said, I'm hearing him for the first time for last 2.5 hours, and I think glad to be here. And I like the most about him is the way he puts everything in simple terms. But more than that, what I excited is, like, I saw his pictures and I saw his video and I saw him right in front of me for this last 2.5 hours. I like the style with him, so different, so unique, and he just stands out with his styling. How much I wish I could also have my own way of styling, which I really want to do, but my family will not allow me to do all these things, and I'm really having envy for this man. And he spoke about it. I said, and he's also quite a big name in the uh, market in city of Bangalore. But then I'm self-conscious. Somewhere it must be bothering him if he does something, his family may not like it. And maybe okay, that's the way. If you think you don't mind letting it go or sacrificing yourself for somebody whom you love, fair enough. Fair enough. If it's a choice, fair enough. But it's a helplessness, then I think it's not okay. It's not okay. He made a choice for himself. Fair enough. So when you become very other people conscious and you're all bothered about then only good name, you want good name, good name, good name. And I have this question I keep asking, Deepak, do you want good name or you want good life? I think always my answer has been good life. But there is a trap here. The irony of life is, if you want to earn a good name, you have to live a bad life. If you want to live a good life, then you will have to earn a bad name. And that's the price you have to pay to live a good life. And I think I was somewhere okay to pay the price, that even if people call me bad name, I'm okay with it, but I want to live a good life. Because good life cannot be substituted. Bad name, who cares? Does it mean I don't care for all these things? No, I care for it a lot. But I also realize in my life with experience, no matter what you do in life, there will be few people who will like you, and there will be few people who will not like you. I think I have focused myself more on people who like me. So for people who like me, whatever I do, for them, they like it. And people who do not like me, whatever I do, anyway, they don't like it. So I don't turn my focus and attention to those people. My mind is not occupied with people who don't like me. My mind is occupied with people who like me a lot. And I have a lot of people who are my well-wishers. And I also have enough people who don't like me. They literally hate me. But that's okay. That is going to be for, if there are haters for Jesus Christ and Mahatma Gandhis and Narendra Modis and all top people in the world, then what about you and me? We also will have our share of people who will not like whatever we do. So this choice I have made in my life. Deepak, you want to earn a good name or a good life? I said I want to earn a good life. Then my voice told me from inside, if you want a good life, then you have to be ready for the bad name. I said done. I said done. What's your choice, my dear friends? You want a good name or you want a good life? If you want a good name, then be ready for some bad life. And if you don't want bad life, then be ready for some bad name. I think bad name also hurts, bad life also hurts. But I think bad name will hurt a little if you focus that side. But bad life hurts you 24/7 lifetime. You have to make a choice between less pain and more pain. I think I made a choice to embrace less pain and not to live with more pain. I think few people in this world, or a lot of them, a lot of few more, have actually chosen more pain then less pain. Because there is nothing called good name and good life. It's not there. History is witness to this. There is no person in the world who was always in the good books of everybody and he also led a good life. This concept called, this ideology called, this philosophy called good name and good life is not for anybody, not even for the gods who took incarnation or God incarnated. Even they did not have this luxury and the pleasure of living a good life and having a good name. If they were not spared, you think you and me will get that luxury? No chance. So you'll have to settle for something in between, which I settle for. You have to make a choice between more pain and less pain. Bad name is less pain. Bad life is very, very big pain. I chose the small pain by embracing a good life. Will you do that? It's a decision that you'll have to make today. So this whole branding of being good, wanting to be good, is a good feeling. Nothing wrong about it. Who doesn't want to be good? I want to be good, but it's like you want me to be good to you. That's not fair. I want to be good. I think it's beautiful. You want me to be good to you by listening to whatever you offer me or listening to me whatever you do, whatever you ask me to do, or doing everything favorable to you, even if I think it's not required to be done at times. When I do, I do. When I don't think I should do, I think I will not do it. For example, there are times people want to come and meet me without giving me a notice or without taking this appointment or without informing. They just drop in my home or drop into my office. And I say, no, it's my time. It's my working time. It's my creative time. It's my family time. It's my personal time. You just barging in is not a right thing to do, a great thing to do without me knowing about the whole thing. And then you expect me to sit with you. I'll feel bad. The problem here is this again. If you just barge into my space, when I say I'm giving my example, it applies you. I want you to reflect yourself with my life. It happens with you also. Somebody suddenly drops into your house, into your office space. You're in the mid of a very important thought process, important planning, discussion, execution, or simply chilling, relaxing after a long time, hard day's work. And somebody simply barges in your place and say, we just came to see you, just felt like we're passing by from here, just come and see you. Don't you think your space has been intruded by outsider? And even if the person is insider, you feel not fair. If you sit with the person, you will feel bad. If you refuse to meet him, he will feel bad. Means one thing is very clear in this moment now: either you will feel bad or he will feel bad, which means one of them has to feel bad. And if you are driven by reputation, then you will choose to feel bad, trying to think you will get a good name. I'll tell you what good name you will get. The person will go and tell everybody outside. You think he will talk good about you? No. He will say, you can go to his house whenever you want to go. Simply sits, nothing he does anyways. Vella beta hua hai wo. Go. You lose your respect. People don't look up to you. You might be thinking you have earned a good name by giving him time. No, not necessarily. They might take it otherwise also. This is also a possibility. And these are simple basic examples that we all go through, and I can quote you so many incidents that happens on a daily basis to all of us. It's as simple as your colleague comes and tells, boss, I have to go with my girl, and I've got some nice time to have with her. I'm going on date with her. Is it okay? You can just complete my work here. This project has to be finished by today evening. tomorrow morning boss has asked me to submit it, and this girl is very important to me, please, 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 yeah, do it. No, you're already having your work to be done. Then your friend or your colleague or your co-worker or maybe your immediate boss comes and dumps his or her work onto you, and you want to be in the good books of everybody else. You end up doing their work and your work also. They will have a great time with their girl or their personal work. You will do your work also and their work also, and you will feel bad. By being good to them, you are living a bad life, and you think they are going to give blessings to you from there. You have no idea. You have no idea. They might go and say, "Oh, that fellow is like that only. You can dump everything on him, and he will not say Lallu ever." Then what will you think about yourself? You think you had earned a good name in his books? No, dears. You made a fool of yourself. I don't do that. And by saying no to your colleague or your co-worker or your immediate boss, sir, I understand the urgency or I understand the importance what you have for that work, but I think I'm too much with it. How I wish I could do for you also, but I'm really sorry, I won't be able to do that. Will they feel bad? Yes, they will feel bad. They will feel bad. But if you do their work, you will feel bad. So one of them has to feel bad. I'm very strongly understanding. I have very strong understanding about this to myself. Very big time convinced. If you have to feel bad or I have to feel bad, if one of us has to feel bad, then for no mistake of mine, I will not feel bad. I will choose let you feel bad. I'm okay with it. What will happen? They might call me a bad name. I'm okay with it. This liberation I given to myself long time back. It's okay. Let people call me bad name, which people love to call, but I live a good life. I can tell you with tremendous authority on this. It's been 18 years in Bangalore. I have practiced this from the day one in my life. And I can tell you, and I can vouch on this, I have earned a bad name. No doubt about it. And none of you can say that you have not earned. But I can tell you, I have not lived a single moment where I felt bad about my life. I lived 18 years into 365 into 24/7 good life. And for me, that's my greatest achievement. What do you want to do with your life? Good life or good name? So I keep asking, is it really good to be bad or bad to be good? Because you being good is okay. You wanting to be good to somebody else because they want you to be good to them. I think that's not reasonable. That's not fair. It's not possible also all the times. At times you can do that. You should. Number one, this is one part of being good and bad. Other part of goodness is even crazier. I somehow almost sometimes I feel convinced. Actually, it is very bad to be good. Because problem with people who do good in life, no, I somehow feel if they are not smart enough, which I want to speak towards the end of the session, I feel goodness makes you weak. I have seen people, your goodness should not become your weakness. And I somehow feel, and I have seen a lot of people's goodness has become weakness because your goodness, if you are not smart, will be exploited. Just because people think you are good, they expect you to do everything when they ask you to do something for them. So they will exploit. And I've seen goodness has always been exploited. Now he'll understand, or she will understand. They won't say no. You go and ask them. And just because you don't know how to say no to people, no to things, and no to events, you get exploited, and goodness gets exploited. In whatever understanding you have about good and bad people, bad person whom you think is a bad person will not budge. He will not oblige. He will not fall for your request. He will not do a favor to you. You know it. You know it. You don't even disturb that person. Bad person never get exploited. Good person gets exploited if you don't know how to take care of your goodness. So good gets exploited and good becomes weakness, or goodness becomes weakness. And bad person you can't exploit because you're scared of bad. What world we have created. People are scared of bad people, scared of bad, and they are willing to exploit and victimize good in life. So bad person whom you think is a bad person, we are not defined anything yet, or we cannot. But that bad person is actually living a good life. And a good person is actually getting victimized or getting helplessly exploited, living a bad life. Two daughters-in-law in the same house. One daughter-in-law, a typical soap opera, if you see in whichever language, regional, international, local, national language, whichever TV serial, opera, soap opera you see, and there will be this one daughter-in-law who is supposed to be branded as good daughter-in-law, other is a bad daughter-in-law. Who's bad daughter-in-law? Bad daughter-in-law is that one who doesn't listen to anybody. She listens to herself. And she does whatever she thinks is right. And she goes with that and she lives a good life. And this is depicted in every possible soap opera. And the good daughter-in-law is shown suffering because she wants to keep mother-in-law happy, father-in-law happy, husband happy, brother-in-law happy. Everybody she has to keep happy, and trying to keep everybody happy, she is living a miserable life. This is how it is depicted, and that's to a large extent a reality also of so many lives in this world. So the question comes, is it really good to be bad? Because bad person, whatever you have branded as, is actually living a good life. And is it really bad to be good because a good person or goodness is getting exploited? This is the second part of my discussion. Third part is even more crazier. Third part is like, good person or people who do good, for most of the majority of the population of this world, somehow feels other person who has bad habits is a bad person, and the person who does not have bad habits is not a bad person, is a good person. What definitions, what parameters we have set for good and bad? No, one is that if you obey me, if you listen to me, you're a good person, otherwise you're a bad person. As you grow in life, he's a smoker, the drunkard, he's a gambler, the drug addict. So people who are having bad habits, we brand them as bad people, and people who do not have bad habits, we brand them as good person. My dear friends, there are some visible weaknesses like smoking and drinking and drugs and other things. And there are a lot of invisible weaknesses. You may not have smoking habit or a drinking habit or drugs or anything like that, but if you have full-time 24/7 angry head on your head or in your head, if you're full-time perverted, if you're filled with lust, jealousy, hatred, don't you think even these are bad habits? Being sarcastic, being taunting, by being criticizing everything every time, by pulling people down, gossiping. These are not visible weaknesses, but these are also very invisible weaknesses, and there are very bad habits in life. So few people have visible bad habits and few people have invisible bad habits. And just because of somebody's bad habits, can we brand them or label them as bad or good or what? Really? But this is our maturity levels, and in this perception and this assumption and these understandings, we are living with people in this world, and we expect life to be fair. Life, how it will be fair to you? Because even if life is fair, we won't understand the meaning of life because we have such narrow-minded spectacles in our life. So this is my third angle to this whole session here. Just because somebody has bad habits, we think they are bad people. Somebody does not have visible bad habits, we call them good people. I don't think it is fair, and it's the right way of understanding or judging somebody at good or bad parameter, whatever we have set. Then I have a fourth angle, or a fourth perspective, or a fourth understanding, whatever you want to understand it like that. Good people somehow feel and they strongly believe because they are good and they are doing good in life as per them, which can be questioned, just because you are very religious doesn't make you good, just because you please everybody doesn't make you good. But people who have branded themselves or they perceive themselves and they've concluded that they are good people somehow feel because they are good in life, God will work for them. Big assumption, strange assumption, very stupid assumption that just because you are good, God will be with you, God will work for you, and God will help you. And I think that makes you very weak. If at one end outsiders exploit you, then I think this assumption of people and this strong understanding what they are, a strong misunderstanding what they have for themselves, that because they are good, God will take care of them, God will help them, God will work for them, makes them personally very weak. Because every time something wrong happens with these people, they look up and say, why God? Why me? On the other hand, bad people or people who do bad in life and they are very convinced that this is not as per everybody's norms, and they also know, for example, let's keep as straight plain example as a robber, a thief. He knows he's going to steal, bad thing only is going to do, and he's going to be termed as a bad human being, and he is doing bad. Bad person knows very clearly because he is doing bad, God won't help. god God won't help and God will not be on his side. So he properly plans, he meticulously plan and execute the plan to the last detail, and he's successful in his project. So I think the bad person is doing a right thing, or he's doing a good thing by planning properly, thinking properly, executing properly, cutting off all the loopholes, and uh, preparing himself well for the project or his mission of stealing things. So a bad person is actually doing right things in life and is becoming successful. A good thing, a good person is thinking God will help, God will work for him or her. So they simply sit, keep praying, and do not much about it, and then they end up on a lesser side or a losing side, and they keep wondering why after being good they're on the wrong side, and why people doing bad are on the right side. Isn't it very, very strange that I would actually feel a lot to learn from bad people or people who do bad things in life, because they are doing everything right in their life. They are planning, they are deliberating, they are executing well, they are processing it properly to the last detail, they go and make success. A lot to learn from bad people then, or people who do bad things in life. A lot to learn from good people also, how not to live your life. And very strange, because that so-called, as per you, so-called bad person actually is living a happy life, successful life, enjoying his life. And a good person, by being good, actually is miserable. What sense it makes, I never understood. I remember in recent some program, I almost went to the extent and told people, boss, by being good, if you're going to be miserable, I prefer you to be bad and happy in life. Literally. By being good, if you're miserable, I don't think you should be good. If it is going to make you miserable, what is the point of being good in life? For me, I think happiness is more important in life than to be good. No, I am not advocating you to pick up bad things in life, but I'm asking you, can we have a change in the thought process that if you feel so powerful, if you feel so good about being good in life, then feel strong about yourself and be happy about yourself. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm sacrificing it for my family. Yes, I'm sacrificing it for my boss. Yes, I'm sacrificing it for my colleague. Yes, I'm sacrificing it for my life, and I'm happy about it. Makes sense to me. Makes tremendous sense to me that I'm doing this sacrifice by choice. I don't want to do this, I don't like doing this, but for that person or for that relationship or for that work, for that mission, for that goal of my life, I'm willing to sacrifice this, and I'm happily going to do that. I'm going to enjoy doing that. Makes tremendous sense to me. Than to end up saying dialogues like भलाई का जमाना ही नहीं है. There's no point to be good in life. Being too good, what has I've earned in my life, then don't be good. There's no compulsion, right? So I think what is missing link here is one word. Only one word is missing here is smart. The difference between good and bad, I think the gap is only called smart. I think bad person is very smart. They know where to say yes, where not to say yes. They know where to say no and where not to say no. They know very clearly whom to say yes, whom to say no, when to say yes, when to no say no, where to say yes, where to say no. I think this quality of bad people I have picked up in my life, added to my goodness. I'm a very good person, I know that. Very good person, I know that. I think smart I picked up from bad people. People who do bad. Have you seen people who do bad? You can't catch them. How brilliant they are. They will do wrong things, they will do bad things, they will do stupid things, and so brilliantly they will execute it. Nobody will come to know. I think that smartness I picked up from bad people and joined to my goodness, and I think I have found a brilliant way in my life. I'm good and I'm also smart. It doesn't mean I say no to everybody in my life. It doesn't mean I say no to everything in my life or every event in my life. I think I've become smart. You can say calculative, you can say manipulative, you can say what you want to say. I'll say it's smart. I know exactly whom to say yes and whom to say no. I have learned whom to. It's like a lot of people want to come to meet me. A lot of people come and meet me also. Maximum time I don't meet if they don't taken my appointment. But once in a while, if somebody drops in, and if I realize they really need help, or they will help in my purpose, I create some time for them and get the work done either for them or for me. It's smartness. There are a lot of events which I go. I don't go for a lot of insignificant events in my life, but there are times I go for some insignificant events also in my life. It doesn't matter to my life, but I realize the importance. I'll end up meeting some important people in that program or in that event, even if it's insignificant. They're also coming for the sake of coming. Then I don't mind to make this lose this opportunity. You can call me I'm an opportunist at time. Yes, I'm an opportunist at time because I know it is going to either help me in my purpose or I will end up helping them in their life. And very smartly I make my choices, whom to say yes, whom to say no, where to say yes, where to say no, what to say yes, what to say no. Like today, it's been Sunday, and one of the students got married today in Kanakpura. It's 1.5 hours drive from here. Usually, I don't go so far for any marriage because I think 1.5 hours drive, 1.5 hours coming back, 3 hours of mine, and 1 hour in the marriage, 4 hours of my day going for a marriage of somebody. Even if it's very close relationship, you have to be there. It's a social obligation. But some distant relative or some distant friend, I think I tell them, you finish everything, meet me after every all rituals are over, 10-15 days. Come, I'll spend that 4 hours with you one to one. I think I can change your life. If you sit with me, I can give you a beautiful understandings about how to have a great married life. Simply driving and coming back and sitting and eating for 1 hour, 4 hours wasting myself in a marriage function of someone who are not very close to me just because it's a social obligation. I at times I say no, but today I went because today was Sunday. I thought it would be a nice drive. Recently bought a Mercedes Benz, so a long drive is pending. Family time also will be there, so take the family along with me. Went for a drive, had a nice drive. Also met this guy, very simple but very sincere student of mine for last 6 years. Met their family, had nice lunch with everybody. Come back driving 4 hours, had a nice, beautiful time. Smartly use the same decision, smartly use the same event. No, I think that is the need of the hour. I'm not saying to be you to become bad in whatever definition you have understood about bad, because that clarity we will never have in this lifetime. But I think to my goodness, I have picked up the smartness of bad people and added to my life very smartly. I have learned it's okay to earn a bad name but live a good life, and you don't earn bad name with everybody in life. People who like you will always, you will be in the good books of them for whatever you do, and they will like you. Focus on them. And there will be few people who will never like you for whatever you do. Don't focus on them, and be smart to know that everybody will not say good about you, everybody will not be good to you, everybody will not give you a good name in your lifetime. And this smartness, you should have clarity in this intelligence of yours, that everybody will not say good to you about you, everybody will not say good about you to everybody else. There will be people who will speak about you behind your back, and you should know that's how it works. Then question in this, why the hell people speak like this? They will speak, that's a human nature. And that smartness, because bad people know this, they're doing bad, so people will speak bad about them, and they're okay with, they're mentally accepted, emotionally accepted. They will speak bad about me because I'm doing something wrong or bad. It's okay with me. That part I have taken. If I do something for myself which people may not be able to tick mark for that, if it's not going to be socially conforming to their ideas, they might call me bad names, but I think it's okay. That smartly I have played into my mind, and I'm very peaceful with my life. I'm very peaceful with my life. So you should be good. There is no negotiation on this. For personal satisfaction, because when you are good, you really feel good about yourself. That feeling nobody can give you. Even if how much your people say you're a good person, good person, good person, but if you know heart of the heart, you're not living a good life, you can't enjoy those compliments. But when you know you're a good person, doing a lot of good to yourself and to everybody around you, it's a very satisfying, contented feeling. At the same time, smartly ensure that your goodness does not get exploited. You don't get victimized by other people, because they will want you to do favors for them as per their wish. They'll ask you to obey them as per their wish. They'll ask you to listen to whatever they say as per their wish. You don't need to. You and me were not born to please people. You and me were born to live our individual lives. In the process, also make everybody else, how much ever, whatever you can do from them, do it. So, being smart, learn to say no to few people, few events, few things, few activities in life, and be very smart in that. Position smartness properly, very politely but firmly. Learn to refuse to people saying that I wish but I cannot, I wish I could have done but I'm sorry, and nicely, even if I want to call it diplomatically, but smart. Be good and be smart. I think that's the way today's world you and me have to live. Otherwise, goodness will become your weakness, and what becomes weakness will be always exploited, and you will feel victimized. There's no point to be good and get exploited. When the goodness becomes pally with smartness, I think you'll feel very strong about yourself and your goodness. You'll reach places, you'll live a very successful and happy life. And that's what I wish to all of you on this Teacher's Day. From this teacher to all of you, happy Teacher's Day and have a fabulous life. It's good to be good. But it's good to be smart and it's smart to be good. And if you're smartly good and goodly smart, you'll not have a bad life, nor you will have a bad name. Take it from me. I'm a classic testimony to it. Wish you all the best. Love you so much. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this regularly with me, don't forget tomorrow is the day Sampurna starts the holistic well-being program for a lifetime for all of you from my side. That's my contribution. That's my gift to make your life complete. Sampurna. See you tomorrow again in Sampurna, 9 p.m. Till the time, be good and be smart. Love you so much.